I formed AIGS in April 2010 in order to become the distributor for Progress Software Corporation in Sub-Saharan Africa. The background to that was that at the beginning of 2000, Progress opened a subsidiary company here, and I was appointed as the managing director of that. And I ran that happily until the end of 2009, at which point Progress announced a major restructure, planned to pull out of the country, and I felt that was the wrong thing and applied to them to become their distributor, which they agreed to in principle in the end of January 2010. So I bought a shelf company, changed the name and called it Albi Investment Group Services, AIGS for short. And we actually started trading as the distributor for Progress Software on the 1st of July 2010. The fun thing about that was that I went home on June the 30th as the managing director of Progress Software, came into exactly the same office with exactly the same people doing exactly the same job the following day. The only difference was that I owned the company, which was kind of fun. The critical thing for me was to provide continuity for the Progress community, which I'd been working in for, as I say, by this stage about 12 years. We continued business as usual. There was no disruption to the customers, no disruption to the market at all. We have as a tagline, I guess, making a difference. And so the background to that is that I have a fundamental belief that that's what we should be trying to do in life generally, but specifically in business. So in our business, I'm an absolute stickler for service delivery, for going the extra mile. So out of that became the original I suppose, tagline that we launched the company, which was something called Delight at Work. Delight at Work has developed into something much bigger, but when I stood up at our company launch, and I've been asked, what does Delight at Work stand for? And I said, well, it's a double entendre, double meaning. On the one hand, we want to deliver delight in the workplace. We want the workplace to be a delightful place to be. And secondly, we want to deliver delight, and it's at work because we're working on it, it's work in progress. We work hard at not just talking about it, but living it and breathing it on a daily basis, both internally and externally. And I'm very, very pleased with the way that's worked out, and we've seen fundamental cultural behaviour internally, and we hope we're putting that out into our marketplace as well. And the lovely thing about AIGS is that we're a small but incredibly dynamic team. I often say we punch way above our weight. How we get that is a combination of things. Firstly, when we hire people, I've always been a great believer in the 2 A's when you're hiring, attitude and aptitude, but really the focus should be on attitude. You can teach aptitude, but it's very difficult to teach attitude. I think people like being here, which is kind of nice. One always gauges success by rands and cents. And my job is to manage the numbers. If I do that properly, then the team can go out and deliver value. My view is companies are in business to serve their customers. Because if you don't have a customer, you don't have a business. And if you don't serve your customers and deliver value to the customers, then you won't retain them. So customer retention, customer growth are critical measures. So we live in an exciting time. We live in an ever-changing world, and particularly from a technology point of view. And there's quite often people say, or the sayings go, if you don't reinvent yourself, somebody else will. And with that in mind, I had a good, long, hard look at the business around about a year ago and realized that we needed to make some changes because the technology had changed, the offerings from Progress had changed. And I didn't feel as though we were necessarily making the difference that we want to make with our customers and our partners. The focus needed to be much more around the technology. Progress itself had changed significantly with the change of chief executive, who is basically a software engineer, and it got back to its core, its roots of being a software technology company. our role then as a distributor had changed, and it's more important that we were able to take to market and talk the technology with our customers and partners. And I quite simply was not the right person to do that. I'm delighted to say that we had somebody already in the business, Gustav Piata, who comes from a long-term background with Progress and comes from a technical background, but also is pretty business savvy and sales savvy. So he's driving that now, and I'm very much taking more of a back seat in the day-to-day running of the business. He's fronting it, he's the man, and I'm just I'm sitting back. As I often say to people, I don't do anything. I just tell everybody else what to do.